Hello dancers! Today's story is Cinderella. Once upon a time there was a beautiful girl named Cinderella. She was so kind that even the mice and the birds were her friends. Cinderella lived with her stepmother and her two stepsisters Anastasia and Drusilla, and they treated her like a servant. One day, a royal messenger came to the house. He brought a letter from the king. The king was giving a royal ball for the prince that night. Every girl in the kingdom was invited. That means I can go, Cinderella cried. So it does, the stepmother agreed. You may go if you get all your work done, and if you can find something to wear. Oh, thank you, said Cinderella, and she quickly ran to her room. Cinderella pulled a dress out of her trunk. Isn't it lovely? It just needs some decoration. Just then, her stepmother shouted, Cinderella! Cinderella hurried downstairs. Cinderella, wash the floors, her stepmother ordered, and dust the drapes, clean the windows, and finish the sewing. The mice felt sorry for Cinderella. She'll never fix her dress now. One of the mice had an idea. Why don't we fix the dress for Cinderella? We can do it. All the animals agreed. Meanwhile, Drusilla and Anastasia were getting ready for the ball. This sash is old, Anastasia said. These beads are horrible, Drusilla said, and they threw them away. Gus and Jack took the sash and beads and made it safely back to the attic. The animals worked and worked. Cinderella helped her stepsisters with their gowns, and soon it was time to leave. Why, Cinderella, you're not ready. What a shame, her stepmother sneered. Cinderella slowly climbed the stairs to her room. Her dress wasn't ready. She couldn't go to the ball. Cinderella opened the door. Surprise! Shouted the mice and birds. Cinderella thought she was dreaming. Her dress was beautiful. Oh, thank you, Cinderella told her little friends. She put on the gown and hurried downstairs. May I go to the ball? Cinderella asked. At that moment, the sisters recognized the things they'd thrown away. That's my sash, Anastasia wailed. Those are my beads, Drusilla shrieked, and the sisters tore Cinderella's gown to rags. Cinderella ran into the garden to cry. Her animal friends had never seen her so sad. She didn't even notice the lights that twinkled and danced and turned into her fairy godmother. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand. Bibbidi, bobbidi, boo! The four mice became four white horses. Bibbidi, bobbidi, boo! The pumpkin turned into a beautiful coach. Good heavens, child, you can't go looking like that, said the fairy godmother. Bibbidi, bobbidi, boo! Suddenly, Cinderella was wearing the gown of her dreams, and on her feet she wore glass slippers. The fairy godmother said, like all dreams, my magic must end. At midnight, the spell will be broken. Cinderella promised to be home before midnight, and off she rode to the ball. Meanwhile, the king was not very happy. He wanted his son to get married, but the prince had danced with all the girls at the ball and was not in love with any of them. At that moment, Cinderella made her entrance. The prince stared in wonder. Here was the girl of his dreams. The prince asked Cinderella to dance. Cinderella and the prince danced around the ballroom. When the dance ended, they took a walk in the garden. They were falling in love. Suddenly, the clock struck midnight. I must go, cried Cinderella. Wait, said the prince, but Cinderella couldn't wait. As she fled, she lost one of her glass slippers. The prince showed the glass slipper to the duke. Find the girl whose foot fits the slipper, and I will marry her, the prince said. The duke searched the entire kingdom for the girl whose foot fit the slipper. Anastasia tried it on, but her foot was too big. Drusilla tried next, and she couldn't even fit her toes inside. May I try on the slipper? Cinderella asked. But the cruel stepmother tripped the footman, and the footman fell, and the slipper broke. Luckily, Cinderella had the other glass slipper, and of course it fit perfectly. Cinderella and the prince were soon married. It was Cinderella's dream come true. The end. I hope you enjoyed our story today. Have a great rest of class.